Hello to you, and welcome to Sleepy Tales by John. I am truly glad that you found your way into this quiet little place, where stories about Earth are told through slow breathing, gentle light, and the soft, innocent curiosity of a mind preparing for rest. Maybe today has been a long day, or maybe it was just an ordinary day like any other. But perhaps tonight your soul is longing for somewhere to set down everything that still lingers. Wherever you are, whatever reason brought you here, tonight, in this peaceful space, you are allowed to slow down fully. Now let the noise gently drift away. Let the thoughts you haven't had time to untangle sink like golden leaves falling upon a still lake. Let the edges of your room blur softly, and feel as if the world is opening a new doorway right beneath your hand. Because tonight, we'll explore Earth together. A place filled with mysteries and extraordinary wonders far beyond what most of us ever imagine. Earth is not just where we live, it is a resilient, enigmatic being, beautiful in quiet, unspoken ways. Here, there are jellyfish capable of rejuvenating themselves, forests that communicate through delicate fungal threads beneath the ground, tiny creatures able to survive the radiation of space, blue lights that glow beneath ocean waves when night touches them. All of it is a whisper from a planet that has never stopped living. And if this peaceful journey helps you relax, if Earth's gentle wonders stir a little curiosity within you, you may softly tap, like, and subscribe. It helps other tired souls find their way here, one person at a time, one breath at a time. And now, if you're ready, we shall begin. As your body begins to loosen, as your mind softens into quietness, this planet, our gentle Earth, draws nearer, as if extending its green arms, inviting you deeper into the story it has held since the beginning of time. Imagine yourself standing at the threshold of a different kind of journey, not a quest for vast things, but a journey into the world of beings so tiny that a single blink would make them disappear. Yet within them are secrets of the most enduring forms of life Earth has ever known. First, let me guide you beneath the water, into an ocean stretched out like deep blue silk, smooth, cool, and alive. Before you is the sensation of floating in that soft water, weightless, soundless, with nothing but your own breath echoing like a distant whisper. Nearby, in the moonlit shimmer, drift little souls. They have no eyes, no voices, yet they carry a story that humbles the world. Yes, they are immortal jellyfish, fragile beings, capable of something astonishing. These creatures, delicate enough to be torn by a single strong current, hold a gift humanity can only dream of: the ability to rewind their own time. When injured, when facing death, when the world becomes too harsh, they do not collapse. They return to their youthful state, as though someone gently pressed a rewind button on the film of their lives. They drift, soft and transparent, yet persistent in a way no storm can erase. Imagine that for a moment. A life so small, yet able to rewrite its first chapter. And as you inhale slowly and exhale deeply, you may feel the softness of that renewal, weaving gently into the quiet spaces of your mind. Then, as the ocean's blue light dims, another creature steps onto the stage of life: the tardigrade, the tiny traveler that seems far too fragile to withstand the universe. Yet these little beings are Earth's most steadfast survivors. They can endure temperatures near absolute zero, survive heat hotter than volcanic flame, and sleep for decades in a state that resembles stepping outside of life entirely. And then, with just a little water, a little warmth, a touch of light, they awaken, continuing as if time were only a passing breeze brushing across their tiny bodies. Imagine them as little passengers drifting in the sleep chamber of a spaceship, waiting for the perfect moment to open their eyes in another world. Slow, peaceful, unhurried, just like your mind resting now. If you place your hand on your chest, you'll feel your heartbeat, rising and falling like a tide inside your ribs. And there you may sense something remarkable. Life on Earth also inhales and exhales. A breath of the ocean, of the forest, of cold morning air, of mountains and plains. All of them are different versions of the great breath this planet uses to keep us alive. Like the immortal jellyfish rewinding its life, like the tardigrade waiting decades to return. Sometimes life does not need to rush forward. Sometimes it simply pauses, curls into stillness, and waits for the right moment to begin again. And you, right now, are doing just that. You are letting yourself fall into a long, light breath, one that gathers the tiredness of an entire day and releases it gently behind you. Your breath, in this moment, is the bridge connecting you to the soft rebirth of those tiny beings drifting through the dark blue sea. They remind you, you do not have to be strong all the time. You do not need to stand tall in every storm. Sometimes the most beautiful resilience is the ability to retreat for a while and wait for the light to return. And as you continue softening, we drift into another world of Earth, where forests know how to speak to one another, whispering beneath the ground through invisible networks of empathy. Before you rises an ancient forest, where golden strands of sunlight slip gently through the leaves, falling like soft snow and slowing the air around you. The wind nudges leaves into graceful spirals, letting them settle on the thick, mossy ground as the forest exhales a deep breath, gathered over hundreds, even thousands of quiet years. I invite you to kneel and softly place your palm on the earth, that's all. No need to imagine too much. Simply feel. A little coolness, a little moisture, a very old life resting beneath your hand. And then, if you allow the silence to settle into you, you may sense invisible threads weaving beneath the soil. Thin fungal filaments, silent living veins connecting tree to tree like neural pathways inside a massive, ancient mind. This is the Whispering Forest Network, where messages travel not by sound, but by chemistry. Here, the yellowed leaf of an old tree falling is not merely time passing, it is nourishment returning to the soil. Here, the roots of a mother tree call out to young saplings, sending drops of sugar and minerals as if whispering, "Grow, little one, I am here." Imagine a tree standing firm for hundreds of years. It does not move, it does not travel, yet it feels every wind, every season, every shifting rhythm of the ground. In the darkness unseen by eyes, it shares its strength with weaker trees. In that moment your hand touches the earth, you become part of that network too. Your warmth spreads into the soil. The coolness rises into your skin, and no matter what kind of day you've had, the forest welcomes you, as if it has been waiting for you. If you pay close attention, you may hear the forest whisper, not as sound, not as words, but as a knowing, a delicate sensation drifting up your arm like a soft current. It tells you, here, you are not alone. When you take a deep breath, you may notice the smell of earth, an ancient scent older than written language, the scent of life breaking down to be reborn, the scent of leaves that were once green and trembling in summer winds now resting beneath moss, preparing to nourish new sprouts. Everything in the forest revolves around exchange, a slow, patient, compassionate giving and receiving. Much like life itself, not loud, but always offering what you need at the moment you're ready to receive it. And in this forest, silence does not mean emptiness. Silence is the background song of all connection. When every sound quiets, you finally hear the soft voices of soil, roots, and the air slipping through leaves. Silence is nature's deepest language, spoken directly to your heart. You don't need to understand it. Simply rest within it. Like your breath merge with the forest's breath. Let your heartbeat align with the earth's heartbeat. And let your heart remember that no matter how chaotic the world becomes above, beneath everything there is always a gentle network holding you up. just as the forest holds each new leaf. When you open yourself to the forest's whisper, you'll notice something beautiful. We are not so different from the trees. We send signals when we need help. We lean on one another in difficult days. We stand stronger when we feel the invisible thread connecting us to others. And sometimes all it takes to heal is a quiet moment of stillness. We will stay in the forest a little longer, and then I'll guide you into places where intelligence does not live in a brain, but in shape, in movement, in the quiet cooperation of nature. Now, as you continue listening to the forest's hum, you may realize something curious. The intelligence of nature is never in loudness. It does not require voices, strength, or even a brain as we define it. True intelligence, millions of years older than humanity, hides in quiet collaborations, in simple forms built from brilliant survival. Let your imagination drift gently, like a leaf falling to a lower layer of the forest. There, on the deep brown ground, you might see thin strands of fungi spreading outward, weaving together like an invisible net. Everything moves slowly, patiently, like the earth itself breathing. These fungal threads have no eyes, no ears, no brain. Yet they know where nutrients lie. They know which tree needs more water. They know when to grow and when to retreat. This is a kind of wisdom humans struggle to grasp, yet nature uses it as naturally as breathing. And if you look closer, you'll see tiny movements stirring in the dry leaves. A line of ants traveling like a living stream. Each ant is just a small dot, almost meaningless alone, but when thousands move together, they become a single organism, a shared consciousness. They form bridges with their bodies, linking one edge to another. They create rafts to cross water. No ant gives orders, yet all know exactly what to do. This is the intelligence of form, the wisdom of being bound together. When you watch their movements, you can sense the world breathing. These living bridges are like nature's collective breath, stretching, contracting, flowing in harmony. No great brain is needed, only connection, and that connection makes them stronger, safer, more resilient. It is nature's quiet reminder, when we connect, every empty space finds its purpose. Imagine yourself shrinking down, small enough to stand on an ant's shoulder. From there, you would see their entire world, built from invisible pathways, guided by sense, shaped by gentle touches used to exchange information. Their whole society runs on feeling rather than thought. And in that delicate, rhythmic dance lies a beauty we often overlook. The beauty of trust. Each ant steps onto the body of the one before it without fear. Each fungus spreads without doubt. Each microorganism clings to roots, offering nutrients and receiving sugar in return. The whole deep forest now feels like a living structure, not a building made by human hands, but a system built from the will to exist of billions of tiny creatures. They do not speak, they do not need light, they do not need memories, and yet they all know how to live together. When you take a slow breath in, try to feel that inside your own body, because you too are a symphony of trillions of cells, each one without a brain, yet all working together to keep you alive, to keep your heart beating in rhythm, to keep your breath steady, to keep your eyes open in the day and gently close at night. Nature always teaches us in the gentlest way. Intelligence does not always mean thinking. Sometimes intelligence is simply the ability to flow with the current, to fill in the empty spaces, to support the weaker parts of yourself. And when you pay a little more attention, you begin to sense a very special peace in this world. There is no rushed competition, no noise, only union. Quiet, steady, and full of love. We'll stay here for one more breath, and then continue toward even more magical scenes, where light is painted by air, and darkness glows like living art. All you need to do is relax, and let nature tell the rest of the story for you. As we leave the deep forest and step out of the world of mindless intelligence, you may feel a soft question arise in your heart. If wisdom can shine in the darkness of soil and fallen leaves, then what happens when true night falls? Nature, as if smiling at your curiosity, gently opens another chapter. A chapter where darkness is not frightening, but is the place where light becomes most tender. Now, if you're ready, let your mind slide out of that forest, farther and farther, to a place with no sound of ants, no warmth of earth. Imagine standing on a beach just as night touches the waves. You can't quite see the horizon, only a velvety black stretching out, flat and deep. The wind brushes past your shoulders like a hand, soothing the tired muscles of a long day. Now, take one slow step forward. Your toes sink into the sand, and as you gently press your foot down, the sand beneath suddenly glows a soft blue, as if you've just swept through a trail of falling stars. With each step you take, the sea answers with a halo of light, spreading in circles and fading slowly like a quiet breath. This is the glowing sea. Bioluminescence. Created by creatures smaller than dust, yet carrying the power to turn night into living art. You take another step, then another. The whole beach becomes a silent stage, where you are both the only actor and the only audience. This light is not meant to guide your way. It is not strong, not sharp, not trying to send you anywhere. It simply exists, gentle, humble, inviting you. Feel me. Don't just look at me. When you bend down and dip your fingertips into the edge of the water, that soft blue light leaps onto them like tiny flames wanting to talk. It fades and disappears, leaving behind a strange sensation, as if you've just touched a memory from long ago that you cannot quite name. If you look up at the sky now, you might see a few fireflies floating by, not loud, not hurried, just drifting, like slow notes in the music of night. They don't shine like lamps. Their glow is like a whisper in the dark, enough for you to feel, but never enough to keep you awake. Nature has its own way of painting with color. And strangely, many of those colors are not created by pigment at all, but by light, air, and perspective. Imagine a feather shining bright blue under the sun. But when you pick it up and turn it in your hand, the color seems to shift, as if a living ink is moving within it. That blue is not real in the usual sense. It is made by tiny structures on the feather, bending and scattering light in beautiful ways. The morpho butterfly is the same. Its wings are not actually blue. They appear blue because light is being tricked. Nature, like a calm painter, does not always use heavy strokes of pigment. Instead, it uses structure, air, and angles to create brilliant blues that ripple like waves of light. All of this gently shows you something. Some kinds of beauty only appear when we slow down, when we soften our gaze, when we stop looking with a mind that demands to understand and instead look with our feelings. Light in the darkness, colors painted with air, creatures smaller than dust creating scenes larger than sunrise. They are not trying to impress anyone. They do not need praise. They do not need to be seen. They simply exist, light as a breath. And perhaps, as you listen to this story, that same small light is beginning to glow inside you. A light that is not dazzling, but warm. Not blinding, but just enough to soothe you from within. Stay with that feeling for a moment, because when we step into the next part, you'll see that it's not only light, but also the hearts of the creatures around us that are quietly shining. Just for you. When the last glow on the night beach fades, when the blue rings of light melt back into the waves like tiny memories closing, you may gently realize something. Light, no matter how fragile, always finds a way to appear in the dark. And like light, the emotions of life, love, memory, sorrow, joy, also find their path to surface, even in silence. So while you still carry the warmth of that blue light in your mind, let us step softly into a deeper realm of earth, where it is not light, but hearts that are quietly shining in their own ways. Imagine standing on an African savanna at dusk. the ground releasing the heat it stored during the day. There is no sea, no fireflies, but a different kind of stillness. The stillness of soil, of dust, of heavy yet gentle footsteps. The wind moves through golden grass, lifting fine dust like mist. You hear distant sounds, birds calling to one another, small leaves flipping over on the ground. Then suddenly, the space in front of you opens, and a herd of elephants steps into view. Each step they take lifts slowly, lands slowly, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. With his hind, you see a large elephant pause beside some old bones, the bones of another elephant, perhaps a relative, perhaps someone it once knew. It does not rush, does not trumpet, does not walk away. It stands there, breathing deeply, reaching its trunk out to touch the weathered tusks. Other elephants come near, as if sharing a wordless sorrow. You may not have known this. Elephants are among the rare creatures who truly mourn when one of their own is gone. They touch the bones as if saying goodbye, leaving something of themselves behind. As you watch, you might feel that sometimes the deepest feelings need no sound, no explanation. They only need to be present. Now imagine drifting away from that savanna, toward the edge of the sea, where the wind tastes of salt and the waves move steadily. Beneath the water's surface, you hear special calls, circles of sound rising and falling like a secret song. These are dolphin voices. The wondrous thing is, each dolphin has its own sound pattern, like a name. They call to one another, recognize one another, comfort one another using names, made entirely of sound. A creature that does not speak, does not write, yet knows how to name itself and call the ones it loves. And if you wander into a rainforest at dawn where the air is wet with mist and leaves are still cold, you may see another scene, love woven into movement, a bird of paradise, dancing. Its feathers fan out, fine filaments trembling like ribbons. It spins, tilts, hops, and turns, as if inviting the sun to dance along. This is not just a dance, it is a love poem written in shape, a smile drawn with motion. In another corner of the forest, a small bird picks up a shining pebble, glittering in a thin beam of light. It carries the stone over and lays it in front of its future partner. Simple, almost childlike, yet as sincere as any gift of love in the world. If you let your mind drift with these images, elephants mourning, dolphins calling names, birds dancing in the trees, tiny birds offering stones, you'll begin to feel a shared rhythm. Every creature loves in its own way, even without a human voice. And within that love, you can sense something soft and warm, very much like the quiet space inside your own heart. Now gently close your eyes. Inhale slowly and exhale deeply. You may notice this: nature is never truly alone. From glowing seas to dusty plains, from wind to waves, from elephant eyes to dolphin whispers, every living thing is telling its story. A gentle story, unhurried, never shouted. And as you lie there, your whole body resting fully on the bed, you may realize that your story is not separate from theirs. You are also part of Earth's great symphony of feeling, a very small note, but an irreplaceable one. So as we prepare to move into the next part of tonight's journey, carry this tender awareness with you. All around you are hearts that remember, that ache, that rejoice, that love. And in this peaceful darkness, all those hearts are quietly whispering together, one beat at a time. As we leave the lands of remembering hearts, perhaps a gentle warmth still lingers in you, like a hand resting softly on your shoulder, saying nothing, only reminding you that you are not alone on this planet. And you will realize if the beings around us have their own ways to love, to grieve, to call each other's names, then surely they also have their own ways of seeing the world. While you lie down, letting your body sink deeper into the mattress, notice this: the world you know may be only a very thin slice of reality. If you're ready, we'll open another door. Not one that leads outward, but one that leads into layers of perception humanity has never truly touched. Imagine standing in your familiar room. The furniture is still there. The soft light is still there. Your breathing is still there. Then you blink once, and the world seems to shift tone. It doesn't disappear. It simply gains another layer. You realize humans see only a very narrow band of light, just a tiny strip on the vast map of reality. Now, try to imagine seeing with the eyes of a snake. The world is no longer the familiar greens, yellows, and whites. It becomes a heat map. Warm points glowing like tiny flames in the night. Snakes don't see us the way we see each other. They sense us through warmth and cold, through temperature differences so small our human eyes could never detect them. And as you picture that scene, you might feel clearly. Sometimes sight doesn't come from color at all, but from the heat of life itself. Leaving that layer of perception behind, let's try seeing the world through the eyes of a bee. Daylight brightens, becoming both more radiant and more secretive. Yellow and purple flowers suddenly reveal glowing UV runways. Patterns humans can't see but which act like landing strips, guiding bees to sweetness. A flower that looks ordinary to us becomes a radiant airport of halos under a bee's ultraviolet vision. It's strange to think. Some of nature's most beautiful details live in layers we've never seen. And if you drift a little higher into the air, floating along a gentle arc, you'll start to hear something that isn't wind and isn't water, but echo. This is how bats see the world. Not with eyes, not with color, but with sound bouncing back. A three-dimensional map drawn entirely by returning echoes. Try closing your eyes very softly and imagine reaching your hand out in front of you. You can't see it, but you feel it through invisible sound waves coming back. The world becomes soft curves, rounded shapes, safe distances traced out by tiny ticks, echoing like the heartbeat of the dark. Strangely, when you let your mind drift with these non-human senses, the world doesn't become more frightening. It simply becomes deeper, more layered, more fascinating. It's like listening to someone tell a story and realizing that what they say is just one layer, and what they don't say is where the real depth lies. Take a slow breath in and exhale. You may notice this feeling that the world is wider than what we see doesn't trouble you. Instead, it makes you more humble, more at peace. Because once we know we don't see everything, we can gently let go of the need to understand everything. In the darkness of the room where you're lying now, you might sense the world around you softening, as if every animal sense were whispering, "There is so much more." And that is nature's most beautiful trait. It never shows us everything at once. It leaves spaces for imagination, for curiosity, for the quiet joy of waking up each day and discovering one more small piece of the world. Now, stay just a little longer. Close your eyes a little more, and let your mind open like a still lake. In the next part, we won't just see the world through senses, we'll see it through time. Because Earth doesn't only hold beautiful scenes, it carries stories so long they stretch far beyond a human lifetime. Stories that began hundreds of millions of years ago and are still unfolding, minute by minute, right beneath your feet. As your mind floats in this world of invisible senses, the heat maps of snakes, the ultraviolet runways of bees, the echo-sculpted spaces of bats, you may also start to realize that Earth isn't just diverse in how it's seen, it's also diverse in how it remembers. Every creature carries its own narrow slice of perception, but the planet itself is the true archivist. Like a giant diary, written not in ink, but in oceans, in rocks, in time. And as you breathe out, soft and deep, we'll gently step from the world of senses into the world of memory, the long memories of Earth, the timelines humanity can only touch at the very edge of the page. Imagine Earth as a thick book lying open before you. The cover is slightly rough, stained with the sunlight of billions of years. Each page is an era, and each era folds millions of years into itself. When you reach out and turn a page, it doesn't rustle like paper. It shifts like sediment, like sand sliding slowly along the ocean floor. On those first pages, oxygen was once poison. A world with no blue sky, no breathing as we know it, no walking creatures, only dark oceans, ink deep, where the earliest life was learning how to exist. And when tiny cyanobacteria began to exhale oxygen, they unintentionally wrote the next chapter of life. An entirely new era where oxygen, once deadly, became the very foundation of complex beings. From deadly breath to saving breath, Earth turns its chapters through changes that are slow but fiercely decisive. Now we turn another page, and the Sahara appears. But not the golden desert you've seen in pictures, not endless dunes whipped by the wind. Instead, a green Sahara, with vast lakes, forests, wetlands where elephants, hippos, and crocodiles once lived. The wind passing through that land carried not sand, but the scent of water and grass. If you stood there at that time, you might have thought you were on a different continent. Earth does not stay fixed in the shapes we're used to. It is always changing, always turning pages. Another page opens, deeper and darker. The page of the seas, the time when water was the only place life could survive. The whole planet was like a giant aquarium where tiny beings learned to divide, to cling to the faint light filtering down, to become something more, something higher, more complex, more beautiful. And in those deep waters, life stood up for the first time, then fell, then stood again, changed form, evolved, disappeared, then returned. A cycle of life. Like a long meditation where birth and death aren't opposites, but two breaths of the same living current. If you listen closely, you might hear that breath within yourself, inhaling as a beginning, exhaling as an ending, and then inhaling again, a new page. Earth is the same. It inhales through ice ages, exhales through warm periods, inhales through mass extinctions, exhales through explosions of new life. The rhythm of the planet is so vast that humans can't feel it. But if we imagine long enough, deep enough, those upheavals begin to feel gentle, like sitting beside an old teacher who tells stories neither too fast nor too slow, calmly lifting each layer of memory. When you close your eyes for a moment and imagine that every layer of rock beneath you, every breeze you breathe in, every drop of water you drink, carries the memory of millions of years, something soft stirs inside. These are not loud memories. They are quiet, patient, careful, like the way the ocean keeps writing curved lines on the sand, then erasing them, then writing them again. Earth has a memory long enough to preserve dinosaur footprints for tens of millions of years, yet it's willing to let the wind erase a human footprint in a single afternoon. Some memories are meant to be kept and become history. Some are meant to be carried away by the breeze and become peace. And as you lie here, listening to these slow layers of time, you may notice that you, too, are part of this cycle. You are also born, grow, change shape, leave old things behind and step into new chapters. You, too, have your own pages, some written in tears, some in laughter, some you don't want to reread, but they are all still you. Just like Earth, you are a long story, gentle, sometimes fierce, always moving forward. And then, as you exhale once more, very slowly, very deeply, you may feel ready to turn to the next page, the page of tiny creatures who can shape an entire planet. As you drift through Earth's long memories of deep oceans, once green deserts, and oxygen that used to be poison, you might sense that our planet doesn't only change through grand events. It also transforms through things so small that, if you're not careful, you'll pass them by like dust in a sunbeam. This is where we reach a very special chapter in Earth's book, the chapter of tiny architects. Creatures so small, yet so powerful in how they sculpt the planet that we rarely realize what they've done. Imagine listening to the whisper of the deep sea, with the moonlight glimmering on the surface. Near the ocean floor, where light barely reaches, tiny beings are doing something even our greatest cities can't truly match. Coral polyps, so small you could place thousands on your fingertip, are tirelessly creating enormous structures. Coral reefs stretching for hundreds of kilometers, tall as towers, with curves more elegant than anything a human architect could draw. If you close your eyes, you can see the reef as a shimmering city in the water. Coral spires, natural domes, narrow shafts of light falling to the seabed, as if the ocean were painting a masterpiece for those patient enough to notice. Each polyp places only one tiny brick, but across thousands of generations, those tiny bricks become cities. Now, we rise to the land. We step into wild country, where wind in the leaves sounds like ancient whispers. Did you know the arrival of a single species can alter the course of an entire river? That species is the wolf, not because it is strong, but because it shifts the balance. When the wolves returned to Yellowstone National Park after disappearing for decades, something strange happened. Deer stopped coming so close to the riverbanks. Young trees began to grow back, the soil held itself together, and the river changed its course. One single animal, not as big as a mountain, not as strong as the wind, was enough to gently shift an entire natural network. Quietly, but deeply. Then we come to creatures even smaller than that. So small you cannot see them with the naked eye, yet capable of things humans can only dream of. There are certain bacteria that can eat plastic. They don't need recycling campaigns, machines, or technology. They only need to exist to keep doing their tiny work. And over time, that tiny work becomes something close to a miracle. You can picture them as tiny artisans, patiently nibbling away at a piece of plastic as if it were a hard candy, bit by bit, turning something that seemed unbreakable into molecules that can return to the arms of the earth. And then, beneath your feet, there's another quiet world shaper, the earthworm. It never makes noise, never asks for light, never seeks recognition, yet it is the one clearing paths for water to sink in, bringing nutrients back to the roots of plants, creating the hidden channels that keep forests alive. Without the tunnels they carve, the ground would suffocate, and the forest would not be able to stand. You see it now, don't you? These tiny beings, polyps, wolves, bacteria, earthworms. Never once think of themselves as doing something grand. They simply live according to their nature. And by doing that, they have changed the entire planet. Take a slow breath in, then exhale softly. When you look back at all of this, a very calm, meditative picture appears. Every great thing begins from something very small. Earth was not built by loud gestures. It was woven from countless small movements, one polyp placing one grain of coral, one wolf chasing one deer, one bacterium breaking down one piece of plastic, one worm opening one small tunnel in the soil. Just like your own life. You are not transformed only by big, dramatic moments. You change through breaths that are slightly deeper, choices that are slightly kinder, thoughts that are slightly gentler. Those small things are what truly build you. And as we leave this chapter and move to the last one, the chapter about you and your connection with this planet, hold on to this tender truth. You too are a tiny architect of this world. Whatever you do, no matter how small, reaches out into the lives around you in ways you cannot fully see. So take one more breath, deep and slow, and let us gently step into the final chapter of tonight's journey, where Earth whispers its last message just for you. As you drift through the world of tiny architects, where each grain of coral builds a city, where a single wolf can alter a river, where bacteria and earthworms quietly shape the ground, you may already feel something very soft, very deep, very true. Everything on this planet has a role, even if it seems so small as to be invisible. And when you realize that, a question as light as a passing breeze may brush against your mind. So what about me? It's a question many people carry for a lifetime, like a tiny dust mote floating in a shaft of sunlight, never quite settling. And tonight, before you fall asleep, Earth wants to whisper an answer, slowly, gently, like an ancient song it has been singing for billions of years. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, let your body rest, still, like a leaf just landing on the surface of a quiet lake. Now let me tell you something you may have known for a long time, but never truly listened to. You don't just live on Earth. You are woven from Earth itself, the calcium in your bones, the thing that lets you stand, walk, run, hug, stretch. Once lived in seashells, in limestone, in ancient oceans. The carbon in your body, which forms your skin, your hair, your eyes, your heartbeat, was once part of ancient trees, the breath of forests, the ashes of stars that exploded billions of years ago. Even your DNA, the delicate double helix holding the memories of all your ancestors, carries traces of old viruses that merged with distant forebears and became part of who you are today. You are a fusion of rock, water, fire, light, forest, ocean, and the memories of the universe stored in each tiny cell. You are not separate from this world. You are one chapter of it. Imagine lying under a star-filled sky, and then the sky slowly dissolves, no longer above you. It flows into you, it becomes you. The starlight is no longer something you simply look at, it is something moving inside your atom. Because the truth is, you are starlight wearing the shape of a human. You are Earth, learning how to think. You are the universe, learning how to remember. You are life, looking back at itself. And when you understand that, you'll see that your smallness is not something to fear, it is something beautiful. Because the smallest things are often the purest. Now, let your breath slow down just a little more. Gentle, soft. As if Earth itself were breathing with you. A long, deep, peaceful breath. Imagine this planet placing a giant, warm hand across your back. Not to push you anywhere, not to ask anything of you. Only to remind you, you belong here. You are part of a story that is still being written, every second, every minute, every breath. And in that moment, as you feel Earth's hand resting on you, you will hear a whisper so very small, yet brighter than all the stars you have ever seen. Go to sleep, because the story will go on, even while you dream. Breathe in, hold it lightly. Breathe out, as if you were setting down everything you've carried all day. Let your body grow heavier and heavier. Let your mind soften like water flowing around old stones. Let sleep come to you, not as mere drowsiness, but as a gift. Because tonight, you are not just sleeping. You are merging with the planet's rhythm. You are floating in the story of Earth, of water, of air, of life. A story that will continue, expand and blossom, whether you are awake or dreaming. Sleep well, little star of Earth. This story will be here, waiting for you, when the morning light returns.